Given how many a day in the life of a Harvard student videos I see on YouTube, I honestly feel that a day in the life of every Harvard student entails creating videos on a day in the life of a Harvard student. Look, we get it. You go to Harvard and you can afford to spend all day long creating these videos because Harvard very conveniently inflates your poor grades. But honestly, we're all a bit sick and tired of watching the same type of video again and again. The same applies to you software engineers and you investment bankers out there. So I thought, why not spice things up by offering something different, something you don't see too often, a day in the life of a TV presenter, work from home edition. What's up guys, if you're new to my channel, my name is Anubhav and I'm an engineer by qualification but a sports presenter by profession. In my previous video, I had talked about how I made a very drastic career shift from investment banking at Goldman Sachs to becoming a sports presenter, and in today's video, I'll show you everything that happens in a day in the life of a presenter working from home. To give you some context, I currently work at a Singapore headquartered sports media startup that has its India office in Mumbai, but I've been working from the comforts of my home here in Calcutta these past 7 or 8 months, which has been absolutely wonderful, except the fact that I've been sexually deprived since I've been living under the watchful eye of my family. Today is the day of the IPL final, so I couldn't have picked a better day to film this. I'll be hosting a live IPL pre-match show that's at 3 p.m. But that's not the only thing on the menu. There's a rugby show that I'm going to be moderating that's at 5 p.m. And to conclude proceedings, I'll be interviewing a squash player who's been making quite the name for herself, not only because of how good a player she is, but also because of how attractive she is. So needless to say, amongst the 3 shows that I have lined up for today, the squash interview is the one that I'm most excited for. It's currently 9 a.m. It's been about 45 minutes since I woke up. You know, some people feel very calm when they wake up in the morning. I'm the complete opposite. I feel very anxious, and it's usually one of 2 things that helps to settle my nerves. Either I do a little bit of work at my desk or I move my body. Today, I'm going to be picking the latter. But before I smash my workout, I'll give you a very quick tour of my room, which also includes my makeshift studio setup. Everything that I need to live a satisfactory life is in this one room. The only essential that's missing is my mother, but she's in the room next door. So here's my makeshift studio setup with this ring light that works like absolute magic. This is the camera through which I project my beautiful face, the mic through which I project my beautiful voice, and if you haven't been able to tell already, all of these combined help me project my super inflated ego. Anyway, let's move on. These are all the books that I pretend to read, the bed where I jerk off and sleep as well sometimes, all my workout equipment, honestly the best investment that I've made during this lockdown, and the cocaine that I use as pre-workout. Time now to snort this beast and smash a workout. I honestly look at working out as being a necessary part of your lifestyle when you're working as a presenter. I strongly believe that appearance matters in every field, but more so in a field in which you're putting your name, face, and personality out in the public domain. So I treat working out on a daily basis as a non-negotiable. It makes me feel so much more confident about myself as well, and I take all of that confidence into whatever shows I host and whatever interviews I conduct as part of my job. You know, when you get royally fucked by a morning workout, everything else that tries to fuck you later in the day will feel like it's making love to you. My workout is followed by a clean shave because I've been rocking the clean shaven look recently. I've rocked the beard as well in the past, but I've been told that the ladies find my clean shaven look to be a lot cuter compared to my bearded look, and so that's literally the only reason I shave. See, I'm such a gentleman. I let the ladies dictate my look. Shave done, shower done, I rock the same black t-shirt every single day because I'm a minimalist, or some would say a wannabe Matt D'Avella. Ever since I made health my #1 priority about a month ago, I've actually been weighing all the food that I eat. I shoot for about 2,400 calories on a daily basis, which is about 200 to 300 calories below my maintenance level, which means that the fat loss is gradual, but the small deficit ensures that the muscle loss is minimal as well. High protein, as you probably would have guessed. Some of you might be like, eggs, aren't you a Gen? Yes, this does go down as a sin according to Genism, but then again, what isn't a sin when you're a Gen? Even breathing is a bloody sin because our breath kills the microorganisms in the air around us. One of the reasons masks were in fashion in the Gen community even before this fucking virus hit us. My mom's, however, the complete opposite. She's as staunch a Gen as one can be and finds it exceptionally hard to digest the fact that her disobedient son eats eggs in the household. You don't believe me? Watch this.
मम्मी बोले जब बनाया करो हमेशा रूम लॉक किया करो मम्मी का क्या करो
With the breakfast of champions now all done and dusted, I've got a very brief phone call with my creative producer just to confirm all the shows that we have lined up for the day and how we should go about producing them or executing them. In any media company, the relationship between a producer and a presenter is of paramount importance. The way we complement each other and make each other look good is that my creative producer comes up with creative ideas for shows and I in turn go about executing his ideas. So I just got off the phone with my creative producer and there's been a slight change in plans. So we switched the timings of the rugby show and the squash squash interview. So it's going to be the IPL pre-match show at 3 p.m. followed by the squash interview now at 5 p.m. which in turn will be followed by the rugby show at 6:30 p.m. It's about 12:30 p.m. right now. So 2.5 hours before we start the IPL show. I'll spend about the next 1.5 hours preparing for the show, and it's very important that I mention this only because a lot of people might be under the impression that as a presenter I simply gel my hair, put on some fancy clothes, get to the venue and start talking extemporaneously, but that couldn't be further away from the truth. I strongly believe that confidence stems from preparation, which is why before any kind of show or interview, you have to spend a fair bit of time doing research, making notes and coming up with potential talking points. There's actually a lot of effort that goes into making a show look effortless. By far, the best piece of advice that I got during my ESPN Cricinfo internship was 3 words: know your content, which means that as long as you know your important talking points and facts and figures, you feel as if you can express yourself a lot more freely and confidently during a show. About 45 minutes left before I enter the virtual studio. This is when I replace my glasses with contact lenses, I gel my hair and put on compact powder. This might actually come as a surprise to a lot of you who've been following my channel for quite some time, but I'm neurotic as fuck. And even after having done multiple live events in my career as a broadcaster, I still feel really nervous before every single show, no matter how big or small. Of course, some of this is nervous excitement as well, but what really helps in calming my nerves is a short 10 to 12 minute meditation before shows. I do nothing but take slow, deep breaths for 10 minutes and my heart is no longer beating at the rate of knots. 56 group stage matches and 3 playoff matches later, we're down to the grand finale that sees first-time finalist Delhi take on 4-time champions Mumbai. You're watching episode number 60 of Cricket Pundits and joining me to look ahead to this encounter as well as look back on this edition of the Indian T20 League are 2 familiar faces in the form of Mandira Lalwani and Ayaz Memon, and a new face in the form of Parth Dhal, who's a sports editor at News Bites. Mandira, Ayaz, Parth, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anubhav.
The biggest thank you to all our viewers for having given us company over the course of the last 6 weeks or so. You know, it feels like yesterday that it was September 19th that the IPL had begun. But, you know, as they say, the days are long, but the weeks are short, or the days are long, but the months are short. So I just finished the IPL show. It's 4 p.m. currently. I'll take a bit of a chill pill. I'll eat my lunch. And then I'll be back at my desk at 4:40 p.m. for the 5 p.m. show, which I've been looking forward to the most. My interview with squash sensation Sunaina Kuruvilla, who, according to me, could make it big as a model as well. And I know exactly how and when I'm going to mention this to her. So the last segment of this chat is going to be a rapid fire. It's called Fatafat 15. If Sunaina wasn't a squash player, what would she have been?
I think an actress.
Actress. I was about to say a model, you know, wouldn't be a bad bet, but I'm guessing you can do that after you retire as well. Question number 2, your favorite food item?
To be honest, if I'd eat one thing every day, it would be dal chawal. Is that weird?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, that's exactly what I've been enjoying these past 7 months. That's one of the reasons my jawline has disappeared as well. Thank you so much, Sunaina.
Thank you so much. It was lovely chatting with you. Thank you.
Likewise. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that's show number 2 out of the way. That was as smooth as silk, smoother than a hot knife through butter, because that's how I fucking roll. That interview wasn't live. It was recorded. So I'm going to ship the recording off to my editor, who's going to work on the editing, after which we'll publish the video in about a couple of days' time. Time now for the rugby show, which is a quiz that I'm going to be moderating between a couple of players from the Singapore rugby team and a couple of players from the Indian rugby team. These are young guns that I'm speaking with. So honestly, I'm just looking forward to shooting the shit with them, being completely informal and just having a bloody good time. I'll just do a little touch up, after which I'm ready to rock and roll. I would love for both Yat as well as Jam to do their best Bhangra celebration to celebrate the fact that you guys got this question right.
Yeah.
I must say, my sexual orientation is as straight as an arrow, but I was still turned on. That was actually a lot of fun. It went on for 1.5 hours, but did not feel like 1.5 hours, which is a testament to how free-flowing and how much fun the show was. Not as much fun as the squash interview, but a lot more fun than the IPL show, which was a lot more structured and formal, which I don't like as much, only because you've got to put on a very sophisticated and a very polished facade. So that marks the end of all work affairs for the day. Long, bloody day, but a rather satisfactory one. So if anything, I don't feel drained and my energy levels are still pretty high. It's close to 7:30 p.m. right now. I'll quickly prepare dinner and plop down on my couch and watch the IPL final. Hope you enjoyed watching what happens behind the scenes in the life of a sports presenter or any TV presenter who is working from back home. Of course, every day is different as the cliche goes, but today was a very good representation of what a day in the life looks like. Just one thing that's missing that'll make my day even greater: you subscribing to the channel. I heard the click. Thank you very much. See you again in a few days' time. Cheers.